Hello, Veritas community. So this is the last one we should be doing this year, the interviews of new faculty. When we have people come in, we take time just to get to know them a little bit. So we're doing this the day of the family's back to school night. So this is about as last minute you can get. And I think Mr. Beachy, I have apologized to him multiple times for hiring him 2 weeks to go before the school year starts. The guy's been reading books, pages flying off his fingertips.
Got some paper cuts.
Paper cuts everywhere. So I want to introduce you to Darin Beachy. Darin Beachy comes to us from Lititz Christian School, where he was teaching history there for 6 years, and then came over here just in August. I don't know the exact date, I don't remember, but it was
15th,
about 2 weeks ago.
something like that, yeah.
Something like that, we don't want to remember. So welcome, Mr. Beachy, we're glad you're here. Now you're a history nerd.
Yes.
Yes.
I in fact have a t-shirt, certified history nerd.
You do?
Yeah, I'll wear it sometime.
I think on dress down days you have to come out. Can we get the emblem? We get the Veritas emblem on it, or a pin or something like that. So you did your history work at University of Arizona, is that correct?
That was my master's.
Okay.
Yeah, and undergrad was at Millersville University.
Now that was in social studies education?
Correct. Yeah.
What do you feel the difference between those two degrees?
There was some overlap. The history program at Millersville is very robust. Felt like I got a good content base there, and then of course with the social studies education, you're throwing in the 18 credits of teacher training, which has been helpful, pedagogical techniques and things like that. Yeah. But I mean, like you said, I'm the history nerd, so that's what I tend to gravitate back towards is the passion that I have for history.
Do you have any era, I know it's not fair to ask someone who's a generalist, I'm a generalist too, tend to be that way, but an era that you say you really love to focus on when you can?
It's like picking between your kids, right? Yeah, I would say American history, 19th century American history, kind of build up to the Civil War and then the aftermath of that and kind of settling the West, industrialization, things like that. I really enjoy getting into that. But yeah, I love ancient, modern, medieval, anything in between.
So one thing I know about history generalists, because I've had to be one for a number of years, is that you learn to see things and patterns from ancient to modern. Has that come out of your teaching? I know you've said you've been looking at wanting to be in classical education. Is that one of the things that's drawing you in?
Yeah, certainly that's one of the things that appeals about a place like Veritas is the holistic approach, not only integrating the literature and the theology and stuff into the history discussions, but also being able to trace the arc of history and God's work. It is his story. It's how he's been at work and how humans have made the same mistakes over and over, and how we've learned and maybe started to grow a little bit. As image bearers of God, we have he gives us some grace to kind of work through some things and be a little better maybe than we used to be. And then of course sin rears its ugly head again, and here we go. It's World War II. So being able to trace all that, and certainly the history of the church, trying to integrate all that, is something that appeals about Christian education in particular. You can really work that in. So
you've already hinted at it, and so if there's repeat here, I apologize. But seeing history, and I know sometimes people say, if they're a Christian teaching history, well, what did God want out of the American Revolution, or who did God want to win the Civil War?
Right.
That's a simplistic reading of history. But how do you bring Christianity, a Christian perspective, or worldview, if we're going to use that term, into teaching history?
Well, I think the two things that I kind of mentioned before, the fallenness of man, like recognizing that we're not going to, like the French Revolution's hubris was, hey, we're going to solve everything, and it ended up horribly. So being able to recognize, hey, this is a pattern, humans are sinful, and that bears fruit in our interactions. And yet also, God is sovereign, and he is gracious and good, and working those things out in the behavior of humans, and he's made provision for us to be redeemed. And so we do see redemption in history, and the arc of history is bending towards God's justice. And being able to trace that, I think, is a privilege that you have at a Christian school. Yeah,
good. And so you're coming out of a Christian school. You already mentioned the sort of holistic, but maybe just a few more parts of that coming into a classical school. What do you feel will be the transition, some of the new things you'll get to do? I know you said you've been interested in classical education for a while. What about that transition makes you excited?
I think it's the great books integration. I've always wanted to work more of that in. There's only so much you can do. That's what you do here. And so that certainly appeals. Now, of course, being hired 2 weeks before school starts, got to do a lot of reading. But I'm excited about the possibilities. And integrating that into that narrative arc
Yeah.
of God's redemption in man's sinfulness.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited about that.
Well, one of the reasons I'm excited to have you, Darin, is that a lot of our families who've been here for a bit, know that we're sort of, in the Omnibus program, which had 2 classes, they were sort of both taught as literature with some history context. And we've shifted now towards one of those sections being more heavily literature, one being more history.
Right.
And what my faculty are learning is teaching history is not like teaching a literature
Correct.
course.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring that skill, but then you're also a man of great books and like that. What are you hoping to do in teaching some of the literature courses you'll be teaching? What about that?
I really love
transition?
the discussion model that you have, kind of getting the students to engage with the text, with discussing the ideas. That's one of the things that you do here is train students to think about things well, and then to discuss them and to refine their thinking and then to hopefully apply it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to help guide the students in that process.
Good. Yeah, it's exciting that the Socratic model actually means something, right?
Right,
And we take it
exactly.
seriously here.
Yeah.
So you're a history nerd, which means you read a lot, even when you don't have to, even though right
Correct.
now you have
Yes.
to. So maybe reading is one of the things, but outside of that, hobbies, things you love to do if you had free time right now, which you
Right.
don't.
I don't.
What would you do?
I love board games. I love ultimate frisbee.
Oh, really?
Like watching baseball and football. Go Eagles and Phillies.
All right.
Yeah, like to do a lot of hiking with my family, and grilling.
Oh.
I like to grill. I'm trying to become a grill master.
Well,
I'm like a
at what
novice.
point do you get, is there like a certificate you get at some
I
point?
think
or
once you hit the midlife crisis where you get the smoker for your birthday.
That's
I'm not
it.
there yet. I'm not there
Okay.
yet. Getting there.
You're a little too young,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
I think,
almost.
to pull that off, yeah. And
I might have a midlife crisis this year. We'll see.
we're going to try to
Okay.
accelerate that.
All right, sounds
Then you
good.
get it out of the way. Your
my-
40s, it's over. Yeah.
Accelerate some gray hairs here.
Yeah, we can make that happen. And so when you say hiking with the family, 2 girls, 2 boys.
Correct. Yep.
And pretty tightly packed.
Yes. 6, 4, 2, and 5 months.
On top of a full-time job
Yep.
teaching now with 2 weeks ago.
So this is a job for my wife now. She had to be on board, and she is. We're excited. We have our oldest starting in 1st grade, so we're excited.
Good. Well, we're really excited to have you, Darin. We're glad you're here. I know there's a lot of work to do, but I'm really excited about what you can do with our students and I think you're going to shift us a little bit as a school into that history side, and I'm looking forward to your expertise there.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
So thank you.
Thank you.